What do you make of these talks going on between Labour and the Conservatives? There are some in your party saying that there is absolutely no point in them continuing, but they have been going on for weeks.
Well, it was right for the Shadow Cabinet to meet the government because the offer has been there and it's been something that's been championed for a long time. It's 2.5 years too late from the government's side, but it was right for them to go. But if there's no movement and there's no way of getting the best possible deal through the House of Commons, then it's a charade. And John McDonnell's absolutely right this afternoon when he says that even if they were to agree the best possible deal, and even if Parliament was to pass that deal, the Prime Minister will change tomorrow and therefore we'll be back to square one. And I think the letter that's been sent to the Prime Minister today by the 1922 committee chairman to say that they should pull off these talks shows that the next Tory Prime Minister will campaign on that very platform to rip up any agreement that's put in place. So it's quite clear that that won't even get through Parliament, and even if it does get through Parliament, it won't get through the next Prime Minister, which means the only lock that's left on this is that confirmatory vote we've been talking about for 18 months.
But you and others in your party who do want that second referendum, actually, you want to campaign to remain in the EU. So actually there's no deal, is there, that you would back to leave the EU?
Well, let's get the best possible deal passed by Parliament and take that back to the people. And if the people decide they want that deal, at least they get the best possible deal when we leave the European Union. But what is perfectly clear is that no deal is as good as the deal that we currently have and enjoy as a member of the European Union. And therefore we'll be going back to the public to say, we understand fully that you voted to leave the European Union. Here's what the government has negotiated and been able to pass Parliament. Is this what you expected? The deal that the Prime Minister's put on the table already neither pleases Remainers or pleases Leavers, and therefore it's right to let the public back into this process, and if they want the deal, they can vote for the deal.
Equally, in your party there is a problem, isn't there, because you have a lot of Labour voters in some parts of the country who voted to leave, elsewhere, places like London, places like your constituency in Scotland, and of course most of Scotland, voting to remain. Jeremy Corbyn is trying to keep those two sides together. I mean, it's pretty difficult, but people like you are laying into him about it.
Well, if Parliament is to pass a deal that's put in place by the Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister discussing it in a room in Whitehall without any of the public involvement in that, I think that will keep people incredibly angry. What we need to try and do is bring the country back together. And the best way to bring the country back together is to say, look, the government have actioned your instruction to leave the European Union. Here is what the consequences of that actually are. Never mind all the promises that were made at the 2016 referendum that have proven to be wrong. All those promises, incidentally, made by Nigel Farage and his cohort have all proven to be broken promises. Here's the deal on the table. Here's the economic consequences of that deal. Of course, there are upsides to it, like leaving the European Union, if that's what people want. Then they can vote for that deal. But it's right to have a measurable proposition on the table that the public can then be let back into this process. That could bring the country back together, and it also allows the paralysis in Parliament to be broken.
Ian Murray, thank you very much indeed. And certainly that paralysis is what most MPs are discussing. There hasn't been a vote here since, I think, April the 10th, and no sign of one. The